I'm fashion journalist Alison Nieder. I recently had a long discussion with Sanjeev Bahl, the founder of Saitex, the company considered the cleanest denim factory in the world, and an organization designed to be a force for good. We will run the entire interview as a podcast that will be out shortly on the kingpinshow.com website. For Kingpins 24, we are showing you a portion of that discussion, which was held while I was in Los Angeles and Sanjeev was in Vietnam. You recently announced plans to expand and open new facilities in Los Angeles. How does the current crisis affect those plans? Are they on hold? Has it changed at all?
Well, let's talk about the human race. I think the human race is a very resilient race. We've conquered a lot. We've gone through wars. We've gone through pandemics. We've gone through all sorts of disruptions. Climate change, fires, financial systems crashing. I mean, hey, listen, in my little lifetime, I've seen a lot. So, what we've also learned is opportunity is equal to need plus capability. So I think this is a time where you build that model into the future. If you're afraid, you just stay in the present, and the present is nothing but a mirror that you're staring into of the past. So the future for us is to be vertical, to be to be digital, like I mentioned earlier, have the to-market component, be very responsive on manufacturing, and be extremely holistic and clean with your approach. So having not stopping our plans, we're just waiting for Los Angeles to settle down a little bit. Once it settles down, we're on our way. And so the factory in Los Angeles is very exciting. It's everything that we've incubated in terms of technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, digital assets, they're all being deployed in that in the LA factory. So it should be the factory of the future, literally in line with Industry 4.0. So that should be interesting, to see how effective it could be. It's an experiment, and I hope that experiment works, because if it does, definitely have the opportunity to bring manufacturing back with a force, in small microbrewery stages across the US and elsewhere, on the planet, which would be effective both in terms of speed, quality, agility, and price. Right. Additional to the factory, we haven't construction still continues. Our plans still continue. Mm-hmm. For a mill, it's also based in Vietnam. The mill is a very exciting proposition. Hopefully, as we've been recognized and considered as the cleanest denim manufacturing plant on the planet. I'm not seeking labels here, and I'm not looking at creating labels around the our mill, but I would say this would be a very novel proposition on which would check the boxes on social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and fiscal responsibility. This would be an amazing model, which the world would have the opportunity to emulate and follow, so that the mills of the future would not look like what they look like today. So that would additionally, it's a huge investment, but that would give us the speed, flexibility, speed to market, transparency, verification of the materials that we put into it, to build a very powerful LCA, life cycle analysis, and to confidently put on a garment from seed to shelf. What did it take in terms of whether it's CO2 emissions, whether it's carbon positive, carbon neutral, whether how much water was used in the whole product from seed to shelf, how much energy was used, versus just saying, oh, you know what, we have a factory and we have a laundry and we use so much energy. I think the consumer needs to be told the truth, and the truth is it's in all the components from seed to shelf, to truly expose to the consumer that, hey, this has been made in a very responsible way from beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. And it also has a life, after life. So I think the investments are critical to to disrupt the old and to build, the future digital path. So yes, so we continued with that, as well as some online initiatives of customization and predictable manufacturing models in the digital space.
What is your timeline for Los Angeles generally?
Well, to be honest, we've it should have opened a few months ago, but we kept on changing things to make it better and better. That created some delays, and now with this whole situation with the lockdown, I think Q4 we should be, if everything opens up in May, June, which I'm hoping and praying it does. Definitely towards the fag end of Q3, beginning of Q4, we should be fully operational. The mill, yeah, the mill should be fully operational Q4 as well. But in steps and stages.
Right.
But yeah, so we're still staying on plan, and it's pretty ambitious. But hopefully, we'll cross the finish line and be ready for the future. And I think 2020 is the reset year, as we started talking about. It means we reset everything, but don't walk away from the future. Reset everything that we have on our plate and just get ready for 2021.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Alison, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And before we sign off, it's all I would request people to do is to pray hard, is to for all the people out there, people who we don't know, who we can't touch, who we can't feel, but please pray hard for people who are suffering today, and just pray hard that we all pull through this thing together. The prayers what is needed right now.